Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to our gathering here at First Unitarian Universalist Church of Stockton. We're glad you've joined us and hope that you will find here what you are seeking. We are a community of individuals holding many different beliefs, coming from many different places, each progressing on our own journeys of life and faith. We join together in our commitment to care for humanity and to shape a better, healthier, more accepting, more inclusive, and more hopeful world. We promise to accept and encourage all those persons of goodwill who gather here, recognizing that we all continue to grow and learn throughout our lifetimes. We especially welcome and stand with LGBTQ persons, even as we seek to welcome all persons of every age, ability, status, color, and ethnicity. We strive to make our community a place of peace and acceptance, love and nurture, even as we challenge ourselves and others to live more faithfully according to the values of Unitarian Universalism. Our children's program is led by Michaela, who's in back, and she's assisted by Jessica, who's around here somewhere. And the children generally stay until after the story. And let's see. Other announcements. The annual meeting, you should all have gotten a call if you're a member. The annual meeting has been moved to Saturday, June 25th. What time?
Right after this, 11.
No, Saturday.
Oh, Saturday, sorry,
11 a.m., Saturday, June 25th. If you have any questions about that, you can ask Christina. And let's see, any other announcements that need to be made for the common good? Hearing none, we'll continue with the service, and I'll invite Judy to share the prelude.
Thank you, Judy. I've never heard that song played so beautifully. My name is Jan Berner Howard. I'm your worship associate today. I'm not Cindy Milford. Just in case you wondered, the opening words are by Kendall Gibbons. Out of a community of diverse heritage and belief, we come together to share our hope to create good in the world. The prophets of all traditions and times have taught that we are called to mercy, generosity, and mutual care, and that to be great is to serve. We know that there can be no enduring happiness for humanity so long as suffering and want go unrelieved. Until all may be sheltered, none of us is truly at home. May the power of our various faiths sustain us in this work, that we may be the hands of holy creativity and justice, and together build a better world. And now I'd like to invite Emily forward to light the chalice. If you would read the words in your order of service. We light our chalice today to celebrate the ongoing story of our community, to which our gathering brings light and life. Our opening hymn is This Little Light of Mine. You may already know it. It's on page 118 in your hardback hymnal, and Betsy has her guitar. No, I lied. We want to sing our children to our classes, are we? Okay. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go. I was joking. Okay, we're going to do the words of affirmation now. If the children will lead us, I'll read with the children, and the rest of you can choose the part you like. Here we go. We believe in love. Love is the only doctrine of this church. We believe in truth. The quest for truth is our sacrament. We believe in helping others, and service is our prayer. We believe in the sacredness of life, to dwell together in peace, seek knowledge and freedom, serve humanity in fellowship, and cherish the earth and its creatures. This do we covenant, each with the other. And now we have a special song that Betsy requested, and Betsy is going to play her guitar, and it's Lean on Me. It's in your softback hymnal, and it's number 1021. Mm-hmm. So please stand as you're interested and able. So I don't know how many of you go to the Trophy Library, but the librarians there are totally with us on Sunday mornings. They know who Cindy and I are. And we come in, they go, "Hey, what are you doing this week? Are you going to read that in the pulpit?" I told them I read Pete the Cat twice, and they were just so thrilled. So this time I'm reading Little Tree, which was suggested to me. It's about, well, you'll figure it out. Try to read it without crying. Once there was a little tree filled with leaves. who was surrounded by other little trees who had little leaves of their own. I don't know if you can see the pictures. In the heat of long summer days, little tree's leaves kept him cool. The squirrels would climb up on his branches to play. The mourning dove landed in him and sang her fluty song. The little tree was sure to grow up big and strong. Autumn arrived and cool winds filled the air. The wind tickled the little tree as it passed through his branches and ruffled his leaves. The air grew cold, and the leaves on all of the trees changed color, becoming yellow, red, and orange. Then one by one, the trees began to drop their leaves. But not Little Tree. He just hugged his leaves tight. "Hello, Little Tree," said the squirrel. "You're supposed to drop your leaves now." But Little Tree was unsure. Well, what do you do without his leaves? Winter came. "What are you doing with your leaves still on?" asked the doe. Little Tree just hugged his leaves tight. Springtime's arrived and the little forest burst into life again. The other trees grew bright, new leaves. The squirrels played in their branches. Little Tree could hear the mourning dove singing her fluty song. The seasons continued to come and go. "Little Tree," quacked the duckling, "your leaves are brown. Are you feeling sick?" A fox said, "Little Tree, it's autumn. It's time for you to drop your leaves. You can do it. Ready? 1, 2. But Little Tree hugged his leaves tight. All around, the forest grew and grew. One summer, Little Tree could no longer feel the sunlight. The squirrels played high above on the broad, tall trees, and the mourning dove sang so far away that he could hardly hear her fluty song. Autumn came again. Leaves began to blanket the ground. Little Tree looked up at the other trees, at their branches reaching high into the sky. He remembered when the trees had all been his size. And then he let go. And his last leaf floated to the ground for the first time. Little Tree felt the harsh cold of winter. But in time, something happened. Once there was a little tree. The end. Let's sing our children to our classes, are we? Okay. As you go, may joy surround you. As you go, go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go.
In these times of pandemic, though it is easing but not finished, it is easy to lose track of people who don't stay in touch. We're glad for the updates when we get them and appreciate the messengers who have collected information about some of the members and friends of this congregation. We're thankful for the Family Promise program and for the opportunity it gives to even a small group of people to find shelter until their situation improves a bit. It also gives us a chance to work together on a project. We live in changing times. We don't know exactly what will happen next. Gas prices are outrageous. Other prices have gone up. And yet our lives are not touched as much as some by the problems in life. We give thanks for the goodness of our lives, and we raise hopes that others will be able to live as well as they can, even in difficult times. We do what we can to help and to call out for justice where we can. We give thanks for this community, the chance we have to be together, to listen to each other, to share our stories, to be part of the First UU story, to be part of a community of love and hugs and kind words and caring people. For the goodness of all these things, even in the face of struggles, we give thanks this day. I invite you now to join in singing Spirit of Life. The words are printed in the program.
Please join me in responsive reading number 655 in the back of your hardback hymnal, Change Alone is Unchanging, by Heraclitus or Aeschylus. Whosoever wishes to know about the world must learn about it in its particular details.
Knowledge is not intelligence.
In searching for the truth, be ready for the unexpected.
Change alone is unchanging.
The same road goes both up and down.
The beginning of a circle is also its end.
Not I, but the world says it. All is one. And yet everything comes in season.
At this time, I invite you to share your gifts and offerings. We have a plate in the center, so we don't have to pass it. You also may send pledges or other gifts to the church office. It's another reading in the back. I think a lot of you will know it. It's number 558. You can join me if you want, but I'll read both parts. It comes from Ecclesiastes. It's verses 1 through 8 of chapter 3. And if you go for the whole thing, there's more of it, but just gives a taste of things, I think. For everything a season. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to keep silence and a time to speak. Changes, transitions, and the first UU story. Changes, transitions, seems to have become the theme of the month. Over the years, with graduations, transitions has actually been one of my favorite themes to address in the spring. But the number of changes and transitions involved seems to have increased or accelerated as time has passed. Of course, I'm dealing with my own changes and transitions, retiring from active ministry, moving, selling my house here, packing up to move to Arizona. You, of course, are dealing with my imminent departure and open questions about availability of ministers to serve you, financial concerns, hopes, and dreams. Several of the ministers of First Unitarian Universalist Church of Stockton have stayed for far shorter periods than the 9 years I have shared with you. One, Bob Green, stayed much longer. But the church has seen many ministers come and go in its 109 years of continuous existence. Even more if you add some of the early attempts to start a church here in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Or if you look back to the first time a minister ordained by both Unitarians and Universalists spoke in Stockton, Reverend Thomas Starr King of the San Francisco Church, as he was working to keep California on the Union side in the Civil War. The Unitarians built this building around 1930, later added Jackson Hall and the office wing, which was used for classrooms until the church bought the cottage and began using it for religious education. Social justice has probably been the most widely known part of the first UU story, especially from the years when Bob Green was minister. He was also widely known as a humanist and an atheist, so humanism and atheism have also long been a part of the first UU story. Shorter time ministers, Sean Parker Dennison and Sophia Bentoncourt, helped to make openness to and inclusion of LGBTQ plus persons and persons of color a more prominent part of the first UU story. There was a time when a minister was shared with Sacramento. Mary Bullard has been keeping the history of First UU updated, and you can ask her for a copy or look on our website for more details. The story of a church includes more than the history, and the story of First Church must include the memories of people such as Barbara Rule growing up here in the church. I will remember my time with you here in Stockton fondly, as I hope you will remember me. But time passes and changes come for all of us. In the 40 years since I graduated from seminary, my journey has taken me many places I never expected. When I started seminary, I expected to be a United Methodist minister in the Northern Illinois Conference, where I grew up. But then I went to Wyoming for my intern year, and I got hooked on the West and met my first wife. After finishing seminary, I accepted an appointment to a small church in Walden, Colorado. and then went from there up into Montana, where I served several Methodist churches over the course of several years. When I took some time off for renewal after divorcing and fighting some child custody issues, I found myself in Oakland at the Institute for Culture and Creation Spirituality, studying with Matthew Fox. That's where I met Jane and where we both began considering leaving Methodism and becoming Unitarian Universalists. A few years living in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, working for Child Protective Services for the state of New Jersey, helped us transition into the UU ministry. We came back to California to Rancho Palos Verdes, where we were co-ministers for 8 years and took turns working with the Bakersfield Fellowship. Then I went to serve as the minister in Little Rock, Arkansas for 9 years before coming back to California to serve with you here in Stockton. I'm skipping over a number of important times in my life journey and ministry, parenthood and grandparenthood, but I just want to make the point that life brings lots of surprises. I really thought that I would stay in California when I moved out here, but I haven't seen near enough of my kids and grandkids over the last few years, so surprisingly, especially to me, I'm moving to Arizona, but not for the heat, dryness, or desert. And yes, with these temperatures the last couple of days, I have been asking myself, what was I thinking? We expect some changes and transitions in life: graduations, getting a driver's license, coming of age, moving out on our own, college or trade school, getting a first job, finding a life partner, having or adopting children, divorcing, that one's optional, losing parents, working, slowing down, and retiring. Some of the transitions seem to take forever to reach, and then suddenly we're ready to retire. When we are young, we can hardly imagine how old people got so old and grumpy, or that we ever would be at that end of life. I remember when you couldn't trust anyone over 30. Then all too soon I was 30, then 40, 50, 60, and more recently 65. Looking back from here, it has all passed too quickly. I meant to read so many more books, study so many things, visit so many more places, do so many interesting things. Not that I have many regrets, because I really don't have many regrets, but where did the time go? And why do I have so little energy now? I know lots of you have had such thoughts as you reached the point of retirement. Many of you have carried on with art and music and travels, but so many things would have been easier to do when we were all younger. But life is a journey, and we really can only take one step at a time when we are ready. So here I am, ready to move to a nice little house in the desert. At least I won't have to worry about mowing the lawn or watering the lawn, because there is no lawn. The days, at least in the summer, will be too hot, but the stars at night are amazing. I'm hoping to put a pool in the backyard to make the summer days more bearable. Overall, this life has been quite a ride, certainly more ups and downs than any roller coaster I was ever dragged onto. Not a big fan of roller coasters or those things where you spin around a million times and then throw up. Anyway, never mind. changes, transitions, and the first UU story. The church has had ups and downs in membership and finances over the years. The small parking lot and small size of the facilities have been limits to growth and the ability to host large events. But the enthusiasm of members and friends and your commitment to justice in society has made First UU a force to be reckoned with in Stockton. It is yet unclear whether younger generations will step up as some of you older folks step back from major responsibilities. The influence, relevance, and effectiveness of mainline religious communities has been dropping significantly in recent years. The COVID-19 pandemic has further hastened that decline. UU numbers have been holding steady for years, but also have begun dropping as individuals and families find other ways to meet social, religious, political, and spiritual needs. Only a few years ago, experts in church life would have said that you just can't kill off small churches because they have a level of resilience that can survive just about anything, including the lack of professional leadership. Remains to be seen whether that is still true. As many of you know, the board has decided not to hold services in July, with a possibility of extending the closure through August. Many Unitarian churches historically took the summer off, so there are ample precedents for taking that break. I think it started with ministers in the Northeast going up to a camp in Maine for the summer. But other Unitarian churches around the country followed the custom. Hopefully, by the time you come back together, the board will have found a contract minister to help you move forward. The uncertainty of the current transition may result in new possibilities opening up. There is always an element of uncertainty in every change we face as individuals or as a community. But new opportunities often do not come until change is already underway. Much as we may get comfortably settled in the way things have been, change is usually good, inspiring, energizing. I certainly hope that the changes coming will be good for the First UU community. I totally believe that you have the resilience as a community to move forward, even if there may be some bumps on the road as you start the next phase of your community life. You will hear much more about what is known and what is currently unknown at the Congregational Annual Meeting on Saturday, June 25th, 11 a.m. Remember, within a congregational polity, your democratic involvement is crucial to the workings of the church, for most of the major decisions in the life of the church are made by the members. So there will be more changes coming for all of us, change being the one apparent constant in modern life. Just think how boring our lives would be without change. It's easy to get set in our ways, but what a difference a change of scenery can be, or even a change in the weather. I talked to an old friend not long ago who was just about desperate to experience some changes in her life because she was getting depressed and needed something to look forward to. Even if we don't get to that point, we need to get stirred up occasionally to experience something new, to take a vacation, to take a day away. May the coming of changes and the resulting transitions bring blessings for all of us in the days to come. May the story of First UU stretch far into the future, blossoming into new possibilities for all. Shalom, salam, blessed be, namaste, and amen. And I'm going to invite your thoughts as I put on my mask and bring the microphone down.
So I wanted to pray for her mom. I grew up in this church as well. And I was thinking, I came as a child since 1960. I've been coming to this church, and I've known all of this to talk about. And I remember the youth group at the time, and I don't know if anybody else went to this youth group. It was called LRY. Liberal Religious Youth. And anyway, I have to say that I don't remember feeling any passion in any of the ministers and the two that are involved.
Thank you. Thoughts? Eric?
Well, this is a serious thought, but I just thought I'd let Bob know. A few years ago, several years ago at this point, I had a friend who had to move to Tucson. She knew she would hate it, just hate it. There would be one single thing about it she would like. And after 2, 3, or 4 years there, she loved it. She didn't want to move away from Tucson. So, you know, everything had its good points too, and maybe you'll find some.
I'm hoping that even though you're retiring from ministry and you're moving to that state of Arizona, that perhaps you'll get involved in politics, because we could use your voice.
Yeah, they definitely could use a little more blue there. Yes, thank you. Who else?
I'm on Lady Fairleigh, a Fairleigh member. My parents moved from Michigan to Tucson in the 70s, and my mother wanted to get out of Michigan. She wanted cold weather, and my father was game for that. He wanted to play tennis, and they joined Baptist Church in Michigan. My dad did a lot of hiking. My mother filled the room with more and more and more books, which was fun. I have most of them now. And my husband and I just took a road trip to Tucson a month or so ago. It was really nice to get back. It's a great place. The sun is wonderful. The mountains, all of it. So I sort of envy you, and yet I'm putting you in Stockton. I think I'll stay put for a while.
My dad used to live in Tucson. He passed away, and he was for president, and he loved it.
Okay.
Our first experience here was with the minister that left before you came. We arrived at his last sermon, and then the summer had no sermon, and then you came. And so you're the only minister we've known here, and we will miss you, even though change might be good.
Thank you.
Without giving too many details away, I just want everyone to be sure to be here on the 26th, because afterwards you are going to learn what we have learned, some of us, about this man. I have never known as much about a minister, for sure, or a leader in education as a teacher, as I learned about him. He's so open, and that has allowed us to get to know him really well. In fact, more than you want to know, maybe. No, I mean, more than than Klein wants to. So anyway, we have enjoyed learning more about you and sharing it with others on the 26th.
Oh dear. Okay. Any other thoughts about changes, transitions?
All right. In order to travel to Tucson, Reverend Bob is filling a pot. You know what those things are? Big, and a truck. Big truck. And he could use some help because it involves storing and getting things ready so that they take up the smallest amount of space within the huge pod. And Christian and I have volunteered, and then Jan has volunteered, and some other people, but I know we could use a lot more help. So if you can find some way to fit it in the next, how many weeks do we have left?
Well, I have to have the house cleared out by July 10th. I hope I get a week before that. But
Yes. Okay, so let's,
yeah, so
keep it stiff up a bit. Let's not get all weepy about this thing, although I'm right on the verge right now. So let's give him a good send-up by helping him get his act together in the way.
thank you for having me. I will have the door open for help at 10:30 tomorrow morning. So if any of you are available tomorrow is an auspicious day for packing.
Have you looked that up? Then you know it's auspicious?
Yes.
Are you having a moving van as well, or are you doing everything, you've got everything green, you don't want, and it's everything on?
My fear is I will have to get a truck as well, but I'm trying to get as much as I can in the pod. I may have to get another pod, because when I was looking to reserve a U-Haul, I couldn't get one in that time range. So the pod is what I have for now. If I can get everything in, it will be good, because my house in Tucson is not that big.
Well, I just remember we helped him unpack to settle with his house. And I think it was a moving, it was a large vehicle.
It was the biggest 10-seat truck that wasn't a semi that I could get. And yeah, I haven't gotten rid of enough stuff, and I have accumulated more. So I'm trying to get rid of things, but it's hard. It's hard, so yes. All right, well, any advances? Okay.
Jumping on somebody, I get helping a lot of these, it's just packing in terms of lift heavy stuff.
Yes, it's packing development stuff that's kind of important, and I need someone to help me go through the kitchen, because I got a kitchen full of stuff in Tucson, so I don't really need much. So, anyway, thank you. Anyone else need a word? If not, then let's go to the closing again. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and support, and I'm so much going to miss all of you. Number 114, please stand as you are able. Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits at the call divine, gifts in differing measure, hearts of one
Each other as you are comfortable. May this congregation always be dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences, beneath all our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We pause in silent witness to that unity. May the blessing of love be upon you. May love's peace abide with you. May love's presence illuminate your hearts now and forevermore. Amen. 114. Please stand as you are able. Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits at the call divine. Gifts in differing measure, hearts of one accord, manifold the service, one the sure reward. Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits at the call divine. Wider grows the vision, realm of love and light. For it we must labor till our faith is sight. Prophets have proclaimed it, martyrs testified. Poets sung its glory, heroes for it died. Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits at the call divine. Not alone we conquer, not alone we fall. In each loss or triumph, lose or triumph all. Bound by God's far purpose in one living whole, move we on together in the shining goal. Forward through the ages in unbroken line, move the faithful spirits at the call divine. May this congregation always be dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences, beneath all our diversity, there is a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We pause in silent witness to that unity. May the blessing of love be upon you. May love's peace abide with you. May love's presence illuminate your hearts now and forevermore. Amen.